Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Joe Ellis. I'm a commercial wedding and portrait photographer in Dallas, Texas, and today I want to do a follow-up video to my last post to YouTube here on 102 versus 12 megapixels. I got a lot of positive feedback and some criticisms and questions, and I thought it'd be fun to address some of those. So let's get into it. Okay, the first thing is I forgot an important caveat in my last video, both for me and looking at Chris Howe in his video, and that is simply that if it works for you, then you should keep on doing it. Chris's conclusion was that 12 megapixels was enough for his work. He enjoys the output that he's getting. He doesn't see a need to go up in megapixels for what he is doing, and that is a completely valid thing to conclude in any situation. If the gear you have is working for you, then there's no reason to change it. I simply feel like his video was a little bit misleading in the sense that I don't think the examples he picked were good ways to discern the difference between 12 megapixels and 102 megapixels. And I think that he was saying that there was sort of a 50-50 proposition there in any use case, whether it be web, small print, large print, etc., as to whether you could tell the difference between 102 and 12 megapixels. And I think for the majority of assignments and a lot of different use cases, there's going to be a huge difference between 102 megapixels and 12 megapixels. And I tried to show that in my video. Now, do you need 102 megapixels to make high quality, large wall size prints? No, of course you don't. I've been doing it without for years. I've done it with 60 megapixels. I've done it with 16 megapixels. And I think that while that bar is ever changing and there are differences, it can be pretty subtle. But for me, I love the extra resolution for some of the work that I do, and it does make a discernible difference for me, and I appreciate it. I make what I call big wall prints, and these are large, 40 by 60 and larger prints for my clients where I actually shoot a landscape image, and then I have a family inside of the photo, somewhere small in the frame. And so from a distance, my clients appreciate the image as a landscape, and then as they get closer to the image, they appreciate it more as a family portrait. And I think that that is a really fun way to display something like that in your home so that you can have that sort of dual layer feeling about the photograph. And that's why I love these medium format cameras and while I appreciate the extra resolution. So your mileage may vary in terms of the work that you do. And I encourage everyone to get out there and test and understand how it might affect their work, but I in no way am trying to say that you can't get it done with other cameras and other resolutions. Now, maybe the larger question to look at just based on these videos is, do we live in a 1080p 12 megapixel world, or are we marching on to an 8K 100 megapixel one? And I think this is an important thing to consider. If we're out there on the line
and instantaneously put it out there on the line, and they share it with their friends.
on the line sharing, instantaneously or not instantaneously, then, I think that any resolution camera can get the job done. Instagram, for example, you can make beautiful Instagram photos from your phone, from any camera that's on the market these days. And so, while if that tool can get the job done for you, then, you definitely don't need these larger, more expensive, higher megapixel cameras. On the other hand, if you're an artist or if you're an artisan or artist woman and you are out there working every day to create, these beautiful, more permanent printed works of art, then maybe it does make a difference in your work. I think that maybe a small segment of the group of people who do that for a living, for example, or do that as artists, as hobbyists or professionals, that maybe they're into making highly detailed, large prints. And in that context, I think that's where the GFX makes the most sense. So you have to know yourself and know your output and know your tool, and maybe it would make good sense for you. But for the majority of people, probably not. I also want to take a second and just stop in cliche corner here for a second and get on my soapbox and just say that, of course, I am aware and fully believe that there is a huge difference between making quality image and talking about image quality. Quality images, moment, light, gesture, mood, all of those things that make up images that really move us, that's the whole game. That's the whole system, the whole shebang for me. I really want to create images that people remember and are lasting and important part of the record of their family. But, I also somewhat enjoy studying image quality. And I sort of consider that the science of photography. And I do think it's important to know your tools, how they react in different situations, how they inform the style of your work. And so I love the fact that photography is the meeting place of science and art. And I do think it's okay, and of course it's okay, to appreciate both. But don't for one second think that image quality is any way as important as making quality images. We're all out there, hopefully, as photographers. If we're photographers, then we're really focused on that, making quality images. If not, you're just a camera collector, which is also a fine hobby. Okay, so is the GFX worth it? As we're heading here towards the end of the first month of the GFX's release, I'm looking at the competitive landscape and the competitive advantages of the GFX system, and I sort of see it maybe 4 or 5-fold. I think there's an obvious advantage in total resolution. I think there could be an advantage in depth of field and total light gathering. I think the GFX lens lineup is amazing because it resolves 102 megapixels so well, at least in my experience. And I think that we also have to keep in mind the cost of the system. But if we look at megapixels specifically, we're reaching a point of diminishing returns. And I think everyone would agree with me here that at some point we're going to reach a resolution sort of normalcy that's going to be more than enough for everyone's application, outside of maybe 0.1% of the people at the far end who maybe want more for whatever reason. And so is that bar 50 megapixels or 30 megapixels or 100 megapixels? I don't know, but I do think that we're racing towards that limit, and it's getting less and less important as time goes on. Now, if we look at depth of field and total light gathering, that can only be an advantage for GFX if they have the lenses to support it. If I can get more depth of field control, more total light into the camera with a full frame system, then it ceases to be an advantage for GFX. And then last, we look at cost. And I do think that Fuji is killing it here because, they went from a $10,000 GFX 100 to a $6,000 GFX 100S. That $4,000 price drop can't be ignored as a way to get more people invested into the system, more people enjoying these super high resolution cameras. So where we'll go in the future, I don't know. But I'm going to look forward later this week to kind of giving some more conclusions on my use of the GFX 100S over the last 30 days. Thanks for watching. If you guys want to discuss this in the comments or hit me up personally, please do. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you all in the next one.